Thanks, Josh, for the presentation. I am Jacopo Talamini. I'm a PhD student from the University of Trieste in Italy. And today I will present you a work made by a group named Mechanisms of Social Learning in Evolved Artificial Life. Next.
Yes.
Thank you, sorry. First of all, let's start by introducing some of the adaptation mechanisms that occurs within artificial life. The first one that we consider is evolution, a long-term process that occurs by having the children inherit the traits from their parents. The second one that we consider is individual learning that takes place possibly during an individual lifespan and occurs by interacting with the environment. The third one, social learning. Social learning is similar to individual learning, but it allows individuals to learn from each other. Next. In this work, we will consider mainly social learning. Why is it so interesting to us, you may wonder? At least for two reasons. The first is because it has been observed that animals often prefer social learning over individual learning. And second reason is because there are a lot of open research questions dealing with social learning in artificial life. In this work, we will try to answer to two of them, two research questions. How to choose researchers, the teachers for the social learning, and which experiences should we use to learn. Next. To answer these research questions, we have designed two different scenarios, and we have investigated separately each one of them. The first scenario is called simple scenario. It's a variation of the one-max problem where no interaction is possible among the agents, and agent's lifespan is instantaneous. Here we investigate how we should sample the teacher set from a population. The second scenario is called the artificial life scenario, and it's a survival game in a 2D simulated world where agents compete for a limited amount of food and where their lifespan depends on the amount of collected food. Here we investigate which experiences to learn from. Next. Let's start by considering the first scenario. Here, each agent is defined by its genotype and phenotype. Genotype is a sequence of genes that can take allele 0, 1, or question mark. The question mark is the learnable allele. The phenotype of an agent is a sequence of binary traits. And finally, the fitness of an agent is the ratio of ones in its phenotype. Here we consider three different adaptation strategies. The first one is an evolutionary algorithm with crossover and mutation. Second one is evolution plus individual learning, where here the individual learning occurs by taking the best trial in terms of fitness of a number of iterations in which the question marks in the agent genotype are replaced by random binary values in the phenotype. The third one is evolution plus social learning. We consider a set T of teachers sampled from the population, and then the question marks in the genotype of each individual are replaced by the most common allele in the set of teachers at that position. Next. We define six different ways to sample T, the set of teachers, different population sizes and different genotype sizes, and we experiment all of these combinations. We then measure the experiment's outcome using three indexes: the effectiveness, which is the fitness of the best individual, the efficiency, that is the number of generations at which 90% of the best individual final fitness is reached, and then learnability. It is the number of learnable alleles in the best individual genotype, which may not be an intuitive index, but we will see its importance in the results. Next. Here we show the results for a specific subset of the parameters. Not so surprisingly, social learning outperforms individual learning and evolution in terms of efficiency and often in terms of effectiveness. In the second picture, we can see the results in terms of learnability over the generations. The important result to notice here is that learnability in almost all social learning variations, except the green line, which is the random one, is higher than in the other cases. This means that the evolutionary process seems to favor learnability at the expense of genetic quality, because social learning can compensate this lack. Next. The table at the bottom of the page shows the overall experimental results for all the different combinations of parameters. This table can be used to answer our first research question. We can see that the best teacher sampling is the one from 10% to 33% of the best performing individuals in the population. On the other hand, we can see that social learning is not optimal when learning from just one teacher, even if it is the best individual in the population, and it's not optimal as well if learning from too many individuals. Next. Now we move to the second scenario, which is the artificial life one. This is a 2D world where agents move and collect food in order to survive. An agent here is defined by its genotype, which is immutable, its phenotype, which changes once in a lifetime, and its state. The genotype is made of two parts. The first one, GW, is a set of real values bounded between -1 and 1. And the second part, GT, is a set of binary values that define the learnability of the GW part. The phenotype here is the set of parameters of a neural network with fixed topology. The state of an agent is a tuple of values that define the agent within the game and depends on the current time. Finally, the fitness is the ratio between the amount of collected food and the age of an agent. In this scenario, we consider three different adaptation strategies. First one, evolutionary algorithm with an energy-based asexual reproduction and mutation. Second, social learning by direct transfer of weights, where the learnable traits are set to the mean value of the teachers at that position. Third one is social learning from experience, where the learnable traits are updated by backpropagating the mean square error between the agent artificial neural network output and the teacher's most common actions given a set of training experiences. Next. Now we need to define what is an experience. To do so, we consider the state of an agent within the game, a tuple of 2D position, orientation, age, and energy. In this figure, the agent is the blue square. Other agents are red squares, and food units are green squares. The agent is able to perceive what we call a sensing field, that is, the set of inputs that goes into the agent neural network and results in an action among rotate clockwise, rotate counterclockwise, move forward, or do nothing. Here, we define the experience finally. The experience is the sensor reading within the current sensing field. Next. This time, we set the ratio of teachers in the population as the 25% of the best performing individuals. Since we are interested in investigating which experiences should social learning be based on, we consider two variations of social learning from experience. The first one, in which the experiences for the learning are sampled from the learner collected experiences. The second one, in which the experiences are sampled from the teacher's collected experiences. We measure the outcome of the experiments by means of two indexes here. First one, the effectiveness, that is the fitness of the best individual in the population. And we measure also the population size at a certain time t. Next. Here we show the results for the artificial life experiment. The first plot in the figure shows that shows the effectiveness at start, and we can see that sampling experiences from the teachers is by far the best performing way to sample experience. Looking at the population size plot, we could try to explain the convergence in the population size for all the strategies, with an improvement of the agent strategies and improvement in the ability to survive. And thus, the new agents increase the competition with their parents. Next. Okay, so to conclude this presentation, we have investigated social learning and tried to answer to two research questions about that. The first question is how to choose the teachers for social learning. To answer this question, we have designed a simple scenario, but complex enough to make social learning possible. In this scenario, it appears that social learning favors learning from a set of good teachers rather than learning from an excellent one. The second question is, which experiences should social learning use to learn from? To answer this question, we have designed an artificial life scenario where experience is necessary. The experimental results here suggest that social learning is way more powerful when learning from the teacher's experiences rather than from the learner experience. Okay, so this ends my presentation, and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Jacopo.
Thank you.
If there's any questions, please just go ahead and unmute your microphone and ask your question. Any questions?
Hi, that was a really, really great talk. I really enjoyed reading your paper as well. My question is actually on your second set of results, where it's better if the teachers are deciding what to learn. Can you imagine a scenario where that might be reversed? Because I can imagine it's a slightly more dynamic thing in the real world, especially given that teachers could have conformed to a very restrictive set of knowledge in certain scenarios.
Maybe they have explained such a thing in other works, where they have stated that sometimes the teacher's knowledge is confined in a small region, maybe, and maybe it's not the best way to generalize to new strategies or to new knowledge. It's not the best choice every time. In this scenario, we show that this was the best way to solve the problem, even because our scenario is not is stationary. It doesn't change over time in the sense that I don't know, the color of the food units is always the same. The color of the agents is always the same. So that maybe there is no need for new knowledge, and once you know how to solve the task the first time, you can solve it every time. In this case, but it's a limited scenario.
Cool. Well, this is really cool work. I'm doing some similar stuff, so I'll drop you an email. Maybe we can work together.
Yeah. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.